Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. Now, today's video I want to talk to you guys about is the boxing matchup coming up between Lucian Bute versus Badou Jack, taking place in DC for the WBC 168-pound title. Huge fight. Cannot wait for this matchup. So let's get right into it. Now, let's first talk about the challenger, Lucian Bute, coming into this fight. Now, Bute has resurrected his career after his most recent performance against James DeGale. DeGale, world-class fighter, I believe the best at 168 pounds, such a variety of skills he possesses. And I remember going into that fight when Lucian Bute, it was announced, was going to take on James DeGale. Bute was just on his comeback trail. For years after that Carl Froch fight, we've never seen the same Lucian Bute. And I was very worried going into that fight. I didn't think Bute had a shot, to be honest with you, at that stage of his comeback against James DeGale. Now, a buddy of mine, Manny Montreal, check him out on YouTube. Very good work he does. He visits the Grant Brothers boxing gym all the time. And he was saying that Lucian Bute looked phenomenal in that camp. And he said, watch, like, you're going to see a good performance by Bute. And also, guys, follow him on the Fight City on Facebook. They're going to have really good stuff leading up to this Lucian Bute and Badou Jack fight. There's going to be a lot of pictures, media stuff. So like I said, Manny Montreal, very good boxing journalist. Check him out on YouTube under Manny Montreal. And check out the Fight City on Facebook. He does excellent work. So, yes, Manny Montreal, like I was saying, he told me that James DeGale was going to be in for more of a fight than people were expecting from Lucian Bute. And boy, was he ever right, because Lucian Bute in that fight, to me, that was the best I've seen Lucian Bute look in years. I thought he was extremely aggressive in that fight. He was pulling the trigger a lot more than some of his other fights, willing to let his hands go, even if he was getting countered. It didn't intimidate him. And there was a moment in that fight that really stood out to me. It was early in the fight, and him and James DeGale were really throwing down, landing some good shots on each other. And Lucian Bute just looks at him, kind of like hits his gloves together, basically saying, come on, bring it on, you know. And that type of fire, I haven't seen that from Lucian Bute in years. And the credit must go to Howard Grant. This guy, the Grant brothers in Montreal, I believe Howard Grant is the best trainer in all of Canada. Another mark of a good trainer, in my opinion, I remember his amateur team, they came down to the city I live in, and they beat everybody on the card. They had a few fighters, and they are outclassing guys who are good amateur fighters. So Howard Grant has done a great job with Lucian Bute, getting him mentally focused and getting him the shadow of his doubt out of his mind. The mental game is such a big thing in boxing, and he's got Bute back believing in himself, and you could see it in that performance that he had against James DeGale. Gutsy performance, really a great fight. Bute had a lot of good moments in that fight. He busted James DeGale up. And DeGale is such a good fighter that I believe that if Bute brings that type of game plan, works, his attitude, his mindset, everything is good going into this fight against Badou Jack. The Badou Jack's going to be in a world of trouble, in my opinion. So now, when I talk about Badou Jack, let's get on to him and talk about what he brings into this fight. So Badou Jack is a guy, he's been the underdog. A lot of people really didn't believe he could get to this stage, to be 100% honest, on his career. He upset Durrell, and then recently he defended his title against George Groves in a very close fight, but I believe Badou Jack won that fight. And when you look at the skills that Badou Jack brings to this fight, we're going to see a guy who likes to work off his jab. He goes to the body, extremely calm and composed, never gets overwhelmed. Even when it's a close fight, he doesn't mentally worry. He's very confident in his ability right now, in my opinion. Likes to throw his right hand at times. He's a guy, like I said, he doesn't do too many things flashy, but he's a guy who's extremely patient, confident. He always has a good gas tank going late into fights. He'll wear you out type of guy. He doesn't do a lot of things flashy, but he's a very good overall fighter, Badou Jack is, and he flies under the radar. And he has good wins over George Groves. You know, that was his last fight. That was a good performance, I thought. He did his thing, you know. Won a close fight against a guy. Groves thought a lot of people thought Groves was going to give Badou Jack a lot of trouble in that matchup. So credit to Badou Jack, came out of that fight with his WBC title. Now, when you look at the skills Bute is going to bring against Badou Jack in this fight, Bute is a southpaw, vicious left uppercut, good jab, straight left. He's a guy who mixes up his punches quite a bit, gives you some feints. He's got some hand speed, power. So I think this is going to be a great fight. Now, my prediction for this fight, I am actually going with the underdog in this matchup, Lucian Bute, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I believe that Bute has the advantages in the following things in this fight. I believe that Bute has more power than Badou Jack. I also believe that he has more hand speed. I also like the fact that Lucian Bute is unpredictable and he uses a different variety of punches a lot of times. I love his aggressive style, and I think he's going to outwork Badou Jack in this fight. Because like I was saying earlier about Badou Jack, he's very calm and composed. His work rate isn't always that high. And if Bute can bring that same work rate that he used against a guy in James DeGale, who I believe is a better fighter than Badou Jack, I believe that Lucian Bute is going to get the upset, win in this fight. And I believe that Lucian Bute uses all those factors that I just mentioned to win a unanimous decision in this fight. And what I'm looking for from Bute, something to keep your eyes out looking for in this fight. I'm looking to see if Bute can establish that jab, hook off the jab, which will set up opening in between straight up of Badou Jack's guard for his uppercut and a straight left hand straight through the middle. I'm looking to see if he can set that up by establishing things on the outside. So Badou Jack has to keep his guard up high, and he's leaving the middle open. And those are key weapons for Bute. His left uppercut is vicious, and his straight left hand is very good as well. So if Bute can land down the middle by setting things up to the outside of the guard of Badou Jack, which I believe he can, I believe he wins the unanimous decision in this fight. Badou Jack, though, we can't count him out. He's a champion. He's going to make this a rugged and tough fight for Bute. It's going to be no walk in the park. And it's going to be the guy, honestly, who's got more mentally in the tank at the end of the fight. I think it's going to be one of those fights it's going to be very mentally draining fight. Everybody's going to be tired in this matchup. It's who can do the little things late in this fight, I believe, wins this fight. Badou Jack, like I said, calm and composed. He even dropped George Groves in that fight, so you got to watch out for that. Maybe a little bit of sneaky punching power that we don't usually talk about. But ultimately, Lucian Bute, I believe, gets the unanimous decision in this fight. Let me know what you guys think of this matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you already haven't done so. Thank you very much.